meeting.
Speaking of fascinating, David, President Obama says he was surprised and humbled to be chosen for the Nobel Peace Prize.
To be honest, I do not feel that I deserve to be in the company of so many of the transformative figures who've been honored by this prize. Men and women who've inspired me and inspired the entire world through their courageous pursuit of peace.
Well, did President Obama deserve to win the Nobel Peace Prize so early in his presidency? That's the focus of today's Making Their Case. Americans are certainly divided over the decision.
This is a signal to the United States by the rest of the world that indeed we did something very right in the election of Barack Obama.
As much as I like Barack Obama, I just don't know that he's done enough to warrant such an honor.
I think what he has done has been very promising, and I look forward to seeing what he can achieve.
I think maybe they should have waited a little bit.
And of course, bloggers are having a field day with this surprising news. Erickson, a blogger at RedState.com, says the only reason President Obama won was because of race. Quote, I did not realize the Nobel Peace Prize had an affirmative action quota for it, but that is the only thing I could think of for this news. There's no way Barack Obama earned it in the nominations period. And Jacob Halliburton called it a noble decision. Quote, it would be hard to think of a more electrifying and deserved recipient of this year's Nobel Peace Prize than President Obama. Well, Jason Linkins is a political reporter for the Huffington Post, and James Richardson is a blogger at RedState.com. He's also the former online communications manager for the RNC. Thank you both for joining us. We greatly appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
So let me start off with you, James, because we quoted RedState, or a writer there. Do you agree with Erickson that this was an affirmative action selection by the committee?
Well, to be sure, Tamron, this award is certainly a prestigious honor for Obama, the office of the presidency in the United States. But I think there are a lot of principled and moderate people on both the right and the left who are justifiably questioning the merits of this award.
Well, and agreed, but I think it's one thing to question. And I would submit that they're right in that criticism. And you know what? I think certainly you're right. The reviews have been mixed. But what stood out with Erickson is that it was an affirmative action move. I'm asking you, do you see it that way, or do you agree, or help us understand that thinking?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's race, but I couldn't really tell you what it was about because the award was given for, it was preemptively given. They're encouraging him. So I don't think anyone really knows what they awarded this for, including the Nobel Committee.
So, Jason, you got people on both sides of this conversation. You heard the man on the street kind of interview. Right. What's your take on this? Does the president deserve it so early?
Well, look, on one hand, my heart obviously bursts with pride that an American was honored with this award. We're a great and generous nation. We vest our power in our leaders to execute that vision, and I think this reflects well on the entire nation. But that said, as a practical matter, it's obviously a premature offering. I think that the best way to approach this, if I were the president, were to think of it as that letter you receive when you get into college or you win a part through an audition. It's a certain level of recognition, a certain level of accolade, but at the same time,
it's about... But is it also a certain level of pressure for him? I mean, does this really put his feet to the fire, as if it weren't already, when you just look at one subject of Afghanistan?
Right, of course. I think there is a level of pressure. I think the pressure is healthy. When you receive something like this in this fashion, I think that it should urge on a commitment to earn the right to have received that award. When one gets into college, the work is yet to be done. And I think that is the way Obama seems to be approaching this honor, and it's the way he should be approaching it. I like the thought of this award on his mantelpiece urging him along to fulfill a commitment that it represents.
James, you know, President Obama himself said that he didn't deserve this. He didn't think he deserved to be linked to the people who have won this. Doesn't that make some of the extreme reaction on the right even more bizarre? I mean, fine, you can make a great argument, and you already have, about the reasons why perhaps President Obama doesn't deserve this, but when people go beyond that and say it's about race, or that President Obama is insidious and that this is vile, doesn't that put the right in the same position it was a week ago when so many Americans saw the right as rooting against America in terms of America not getting the Olympics?
Well, actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because today Brad Woodhouse of the DNC said that Republicans had thrown their lot in with terrorists. it seems like they're building and fostering this notion that Republicans are so virulently opposed to Obama that they will do anything and at all costs to bring down his presidency. And that's just not the case. A lot of Republicans are just wondering what the heck is going on and why he was given this prestigious honor for an anemic legislative record and really no accomplishments on the world stage.
Well, that's fair and that's accurate, but again, not to defend Brad, but Rush Limbaugh today said that he was on the side of the Taliban on this. He said it on his radio show. Rush said, I am on the side of the Taliban. So if somebody says, hey, Republicans are on the side of terrorists in terms of their hatred of President Obama getting this award, that's an accurate statement.
Well, also, you have to look at all these progressive Democrats that are questioning why he's given this award. A lot of people are saying that he has not fulfilled his promises on transparency, on nuclear proliferation, and specifically on the war on terror and in Afghanistan. And so are people like David Sirota, who writes at the Huffington Post with Jason, have they thrown in their lots with terrorists? And I would submit that they have not.
Jason?
Well,
I think
points to the progressive
fair
Democrats,
to criticize.
then. What can I say? Points to the progressive Democrats then.
Okay, well, what I can say is thank you both, Jason and James. An interesting conversation and some very interesting responses out there to the president winning that Nobel Prize. Up next, though, our live interview with Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown.